Welcome everybody to round number 3 of the 2019 Ride365.com Nationals, live here in MX Simulator on SYS TV. My name is Kellen Brower, excited to bring you guys action from Thunder Valley here in Lakewood, Colorado for the third round of this 250 series. We're going to have the 250 motos here live for the next hour and a half or so on the channel. For those of you that may be new to Ride365.com, MXS Pro Nationals. What's about to happen right here that we are on the half hour local time is we're going to go ahead and run a probably consolation race depending on how many 250 guys have signed up. I believe there will be a consolation race this week. Those riders will go 4 laps and the top 4 will transfer into the main motos with the 36 fastest qualifiers that have already made it in to the motos. Then we will run 250 Moto 1 and 2 back to back, with a 5-minute break in between. And yeah, after that will be 450s, but we're just talking about 250s right now. And boy, oh boy, we've got a barn burner on hands for you guys tonight. So taking a look at our championship standings entering tonight, your new championship leader after taking the win last week at the Fox Raceway National in Paula, California. Walter Gebhardt goes to the top with 85 points, 4 points ahead of Sean Klein. Tyler Lang a distant third already, with Bryce Whelan and Colby Eaglin bringing up the rear. Isaiah Dickerson, who was second at the first round at Hangtown, rage quit out of the Paula National and is currently sitting 11th in points for the early championship favorite. To be that far down in points already, that's pretty dramatic, and we're going to obviously want to follow that developing storyline. But this week, it appears he is back. Gebhardt, your fastest qualifier this week, though, on a 2:02.7, a whole second and 3/10 of a second faster than Colby Eaglin, who was a 2:04 flat, just couldn't get into those 2:03s, and Gebhardt not even in the 2:03s, he's in the 2:02s. Tyler Lang on a 2:04 flat as well. And then another second back all the way to Isaiah Dickerson on a 2:05 flat. So Gebhardt, well and truly the head of the field here in qualifying, ends up pretty much 2 whole seconds ahead of everybody except Eaglin and Lang, the teammates for Active Co there. And then Ben Seberg on the 48 rounded out the top 5. But here, down here is what we're talking about. P36 here, Rogan McIntosh has officially made it into the motos as of right now. Everybody further back of this will be racing the consolation race. So all these guys you're seeing on our screen right here, so long as there was more than 40 riders that actually showed up for the UID grab, those guys will be in the consolation race coming up here in just a quick second. And it looks like UID grab is either going on now or about to go on, as we just had a restart. I'm going to go ahead and take you guys around the track here at Thunder Valley. I feel like you guys kind of already know this one. This is becoming a rather staple round of the series once we get out of California. It's been the third round of the series for a long while here. Maybe the biggest change that's happened is it used to be a night race for a couple years there, and then it went back to a day race, but really the track hasn't changed that much since the first years we started going to Thunder Valley. Pretty standard stuff all the way around the racetrack, really fast, high-speed downhill sections, some pretty iconic sections. I feel I'll come up upon maybe one of the more iconic sections of the racetrack here in just a moment. You go up this little uphill step up kind of into the back one last time, and dropping down this hill, probably the most famous part of the track, because not only did it take James Stewart out of the 2012 Outdoor Championship, it took Eli Tomac out of the 2015 Outdoor Championship, as they both ended their seasons in that sweeping right-hand corner with high-speed crashes. And like I said, maybe most famously known for that straightaway is Thunder Valley here, but it also has this big uphill triple in the back, which obviously a lot of people know. People like to get saucy off that one. And this section has changed up quite a few times since its initial national that they had here. It's gone straight on at some points. It's U-turned like it is right there. It's also done like a little bit more of a switchback section through there. It's definitely kind of the section that's changed up probably the most since the first national, I would say. And then from then on, most of the track is actually pretty much the same. Got this tabletop going to the back that I just crashed on. And then you kind of go around this back little sweeper. just keep a good flow through here. These bumps are going to get pretty, torn up, tune up, and the inside ruts will probably dig a little too deep for these guys as they'll change up their lines late in the moto. This section had changed a couple times where they would do this triple and land and go left, but now we're just landing and going straight again into a little split option with a roller before the finish line jump. You can go outside and table all the way down to there, or go inside, roll, roll, roll. Finish line jump. Used to just U-turn and go back up the start straight right there, but about 10 years or so ago, they added these rollers in behind the start straight, and instead it comes out on this side of the start straight and charges all the way up the start straight hill one last time. It's essentially one full lap here around Thunder Valley in Lakewood, Colorado. So, 250 motos coming up here really quickly. We're going to get the ball rolling as UID grabs have now commenced. And we are going to have a grand old time bringing you guys the 250 action here. I should be, as long as he is still around, and I believe so. Joined by 2011 and first ever MX Simulator Outdoor Champion Austin Jones in the booth for 250 Moto 2 coming up later on. Jones volunteered to join us in the booth here tonight, so I definitely wanted to have him in, and it's going to be good to have Austin back in the series. We saw him attempt to race Hangtown, not really go as planned, but it appears he is back trying to go at it once again here in Colorado. And Jones is definitely a pretty iconic name here in the bunch, so we'll look forward to having him in Moto 2. But you guys got me right now in Moto 1, and I think A-Wood may join us a little bit later on. I'll save A-Wood for the 450 races. Well, unless I guess maybe he is racing the 450 races. Well, if A-Wood's around, he's always welcome to hop in too, as he is messaging us in chat right now. All right, so time to get things underway. And 250 Consolation Race should be coming up first. As mentioned, there was only 45 guys that ran laps, so just in case there are 5 guys that aren't here, we could just go straight into the motos. I wasn't quick on the draw to see that if we are not or are going into the motos, but I'm sure we are just about ready to find out here. Been an interesting couple rounds to start the season, especially in this 250 division, where we've really had two kind of across the board races already. And yeah, here is the 250 Consi out on the track right now with quite a few very fast dudes lining up to go for 4 spots. That's kind of surprising to see not only Chandler Bloxham, but Jeremy Smith lining up in this Consi. Kyle Howard's also a pretty good name. Tanner Rogers has won 250 main events before, and Alex Heckman seems to be the whole shot machine. And we also have Jack Gallen out here, who's scored plenty of points already this season. So this is actually kind of a little bit of a star-studded LCQ for these 6 riders. 2 of them are about to leave here very unhappy. And we're going to find out who they are in just a moment. Four laps, 4 riders going through, and we will have our 40-man roster set to go here at Thunder Valley. Look at 4 of these guys forgot to set their gates, so they ended up way outside. We can go to the inside, see Alex Heckman and Jack Gatlin line up alongside each other. This is the emptiest the gate will be all night long, and 4 of these guys are going through to the motos. Who is it gonna be? It's a 4-lap mad dash here at Lakewood, and it's Jack Gatlin out of the inside, who looks like he's gonna get that whole shot, although Heckman challenges down the outside and actually quickly takes the lead away, so both of them separate out front. Looks like Jeremy Smith has gone down in the background as, oh, Heckman and Gatlin just going side by side there. Sliding around over the top of the hill. Gatlin a little sideways as Heckman drops down the hill there. So Heckman to the lead. Gatlin hang tights right there in second. Tanner Rogers is up in third. And Kyle Howard right now is occupying the 4 spot. So So Bloxham and Jeremy Smith outside looking in. We haven't seen Smith at all this year in Race Factor Gaming outdoor competition since he challenged for the Supercross title indoors on a 450. As Bloxham's trying to go around Howard for the final transfer spot. Oh, Howard fights back and blocks them both. Look at the inside for Smith as he tries to make the moves. Bloxham gives him a nudge, and they're going to go toe-to-toe here, almost 3 wide on the table. Oh, and Smith and Bloxham get together and go down. So that's no good for Jeremy Smith, but continuing the thought there, Smith actually elected to head out to the West Coast, California, which he'd never been to before in Race Pro Nationals to start the season. He is a very, very fast real-life motocrosser as well. You may have seen him in the qualifying sheets in the 450 class, P15 qualifier at Hangtown, P25 at Paula, but the moto scores don't reflect how fast he was, as he finished outside of the top 30 in all of his motos. Now it looks like he must be back home as he's going to pass Chandler Bloxham, who dumps it. And Smith goes into the final qualifying spot. Tanner Rogers already well up ahead the road in 3rd place right now. Oh, Rogers back and forth. And he is nowhere near our leaders either, so Heckman and Gatlin proving that they fully deserve to be in the motos right now with this early pace in the Consolation Race. Noticing in chat right now that the ongoing debate has continued where Andrew Wood incorrectly called the Fox gear magenta/pink. Devin Ryan, who the gear guru down there, letting him know, no, dude, that was red. So Heckman cruising out front. No pressure now as Gatlin had gone down. So Gatlin gets up still in 2nd, just ahead of Rogers, and Jeremy Smith on the charge trying to go forward. So Smith may be on the wrong bike, but I'm sure he'll get that sorted before the motos. And Bloxham still trying to chase him down. It is just down to Bloxham trying to catch Smith here, as we've lost Kyle Howard and Bloxham falls over, although Tanner Rogers was off the racetrack. So Bloxham actually had made the pass into the final transfer spot. Oh man, that actually could have been a big swing right there. I'm surprised Rogers has crashed so far back. He was well ahead of Bloxham there. Rogers around the inside here before the drop down, trying to hold off as Bloxham continues to give chase. He's actually catching him as Bloxham here on the 360. We'll go on board with him. Oh, maybe not, because he's got his neck brace in the way. He needs to get a first person model in there. Keeping it close though. Gonna launch the table across the side for the finish line jump. 2 laps left to go. If he wants to get around Tanner Rogers and make it into the motos, he's got it right in front of him here. Not out of play yet that he could maybe get up and battle with Jeremy Smith, who's only a couple seconds up the road either. This guy's getting tantalizingly close here with the Achirby's yellow stakes on the side of the racetrack too. All the way up to the very tippy top of the racetrack here. Just a long drive up to the top and then dropping back down the hill here. Still Rogers. So again, just a quick little reset on everything. It is still Alex Heckman on the 292 SYS FAMMX racing machine leading here in the 250 Consolation Race. At Thunder Valley, Jack Gatlin, 97 Rockstar Energy Husqvarna sits in 2nd. Third place is the number 4, the former series champion. Oh, with a hard landing there. The Prestige Worldwide rider Jeremy Smith comes through. And Tanner Rogers still holding down 4th for Mad Cape on the number 80. So Bloxham is still giving chase and really just losing a little bit more ground as we've worked our way to the back half of the racetrack here, and he's going to slide it down. That is going to cost him some precious time right there. Trying to get back going. Yeah, at this point, he's got to hope for either a big crash or a mistake out of Rogers, because just on speed alone, I don't think he'll have the ability to catch him. And it's really just down to these guys, it appears, unless Smith also has a crash. But I think Smith would have to have 2 crashes to go all the way back to Bloxham at this point. And with the white flag waving here in this consolation race, I think he's got this one just about under wraps. Yeah, these guys just out here basically putting on a moto at the front. Trying to get themselves a little bit more acquainted to the track as Gatlin sends it down the hill. He's going to go a little bit long though. This time he was able to save it, unlike last time where he crashed. And again, it seems really weird that he would end up in this consolation race given his raw speed in the game. But I think we've already kind of thinned the field out to the point where we may not even have a consi next week, with fewer and fewer riders already starting to show up. It happens every year. That's always kind of the case with the Nationals, as we'll get to a certain point of the season where we're down to under 40 guys showing up to each round. Kind of works out in my favor just because stream cruises by a little bit smoother. And sometimes these consies can provide a good amount of fun for us to watch. And Alana Solis in chat dropping the knowledge on Jack Gatlin, letting us know he came home too late and was only able to get 2 sessions in, didn't get a lap. Facebook told me today that Jack Gatlin has a new girlfriend, it appears, so maybe that is why he is home too late tonight. Jeremy Smith still in 3rd. Throwing a big style there off the table, and Rogers still with a pretty good gap over Bloxham. So it looks like this is going to stay the same as Alex Heckman here. My boy Blue, my teammate, brings it down to the line. And he takes the win here in the consolation race. 2:13.5 was his best lap right there. Gatlin's trying to hold off Jeremy Smith, but really this just is 38th and 39th gate pick, so it's not a huge deal, the difference there. They'll be outside regardless. I can't believe Smith almost pulled that thing back. And Bloxham's trying to put on a late charge here on Rogers. Rogers, if he makes a big mistake here, could see himself out of the motos. He's going to try to take it real easy here into the final couple corners. Bloxham throwing caution to the wind. Rogers down to the line, will go through to the motos. Bloxham just misses out by 4.5 seconds. And it was a valiant effort to at least race the whole moto, but unfortunately, he is going to be headed back to the semi and calling it a week. And he'll have to try his luck next time out at High Point. So there was Rogers, Smith, Gatlin, and Heckman going through into the motos. As Heckman looks like he just dropped by in the stream. If he is here, let's see, do I have to give him talk power? No, his server muted. All right, Alex Heckman dropping by the stream. Alex, how's the track shaping up out there?
There's some dirt.
There's some dirt out there.
There's some ruts. There's some jumps.
Well, how'd you feel getting a good start and just cruising away with this thing?
It felt pretty good. 4th session on the track, so hopefully it goes well into the motos.
We'll keep an eye on you from that outside gate in the motos. Thanks so much. Alex Heckman dropping by the booth. We're going to go ahead and pull in my co-host now, Andrew Wood, as he will be broadcasting the 250 races here with me tonight. Hey Wood, welcome to the booth. How are you doing tonight?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Glad to hear you're doing well. Just watched the consolation race wrap up here. 250 motos coming up next. You excited, Awood, Thunder Valley, Colorado? You like this one?
I don't for me riding it, but I do for the racing, so I think it should be good. Lots of ruts, and I think it'll be technical, but while still fast. It should be good.
Yeah, technical, I think, seems to be the name of the game with the track this week. A lot of guys, from what I've heard, are struggling with those kind of pre-built braking bumps coming into corners, and they're on like off cambers in a couple areas. Is that something that you found to be troubling when trying to qualify?
Yeah, I think back in the day, like you could know where the bumps are, kind of know which ones you're going to be braking on and which ones you're going to like create a rhythm into the corner. Now, as the track changes throughout the race, I think there's so many high-speed off-camber corners with braking bumps and ruts, and they change every lap. So you can't, I mean, some of the faster guys can, but I feel like you can't really charge as hard all race and know exactly what it's going to be every time. It's like real life. You have to look for your safety and you have to try not to crash. So I think those will be a lot of big pile-ups, people flipping, and it can come out to bite you.
It definitely can. This track has done that in the past before, and we saw, you may remember this one, a little throwback. We saw maybe one of the greatest passes in MX Simulator history take place on this racetrack when I believe it was Ryan Mahan jumping over the top of Jordan Vanderlee on the downhill tabletop into the James Stewart / Eli Tomac crash zone, as it's kind of been dubbed a little bit. But that was just awesome. I mean, Mahan launched it deep to flat. I'll actually show you guys about how far Mahan probably jumped off this thing down here. Doesn't get much better than a pass like that, though, huh?
Yeah, no, I think the aggressive, crazy passes are kind of what people like to see, and basically what you did is what Ryan Mahan did over Vanderlee's head to, if it wasn't for the lead, it was for a spot that definitely turned into the lead. And, so I think that's kind of what you're looking for, is crazy passes. I was talking to a few of the higher level, I guess, players, and they were talking about it's all going to be who can carry more speed deeper into the corner. I think you're going to see a lot of good racing because of that, or a lot of big crashes on attempts to make passes. It's, can I hold the gas on longer? Can I brake later? Stuff like that. So this track's normally one of the best for racing, I think.
I would have to agree. It sets up a lot of opportunities for guys to kind of bomb down the hills, either outside or in, and just try to hook up to a rut to make those almost desperation passes, but it lends to it a little bit better because you can hook those ruts at the bottom of the hills. They're not just going to give away, and we've seen some really, really good passes, particularly in that off-camber right after the jump that I was just showing up there with Mahan passing Vanderlee. A lot of guys using different options in that corner in past years to make some pretty good passes outside and in. I think we're going to see lines develop and change up. Just based on Erode and how you've seen it break down in qualifying servers, does it seem like the pre-made ruts that were designed here by Racetractor Gaming, are they the ones that everybody's taking, or have people looked at different options in developing new lines?
I'll have to think a little more about fully developing new lines, but I do know that at the start it seems to be a little bit, I'd say 80% to 90% inside line bias. But as those ruts started to get a little bit tricky, there would be people talking about, hey, I can still charge down this outside, and I can hit this outside wide open and carry the speed up the hill. So I think maybe in the race, 10 to 15 minutes, you will see a lot more outsides start to be used. On the long downhill left, I guess before what we were talking, after the Thunder Valley sign, a lot of the long high-speed downhills, I think you'll start to see some of the outsides being used a little more closer to halfway through the race.
We'll definitely keep an eye peeled for when that sweet spot of the track really is getting weathered in. I think at round one is probably closer to the 12 to 13 minute mark, and then at Paula it almost seemed like times were really good later into the motos. Like we saw a couple fast laps being laid down around 18-19 minutes in. So I think we'll hit that tipping point somewhere there or thereabouts again here at Lakewood. And as you have mentioned, it's going to be really key to watch these downhills and charging late into corners for those optimal lap times in the mid-moto and see who can put on a late race charge from either back in the pack, or if they're just battling for the lead, maybe separate themselves at that midpoint of the race. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Bringing you guys all the action here live on SYS TV from Thunder Valley. And as soon as I get loaded back in, I would like A-Wood here to give us a versus PC one to watch.
Ooh, let me think about that. I was going to say, though, you are exactly correct about that. I feel like Paula did develop a little bit later. I think that's one thing a lot of these guys look at from their qualifying servers, whether you're riding with 20 people and it only gets good for a lap at like the last lap or two, or if you can be in a full qualifying server. Normally that's not, at least I feel like back in the day, what people want. Now you want to be in a full server so it starts to shape up like the real race, and you can kind of see how it's going to work out. One to watch. I was trying to go through, but it restarted.
The game pulling tricks on you, A-Wood.
I know. I think the start's going to come. Let me look on the warm-up lap.
Well, warm-up lap's over.
Well, it's still set on one lap, so something fucked up.
Oh, geez. All right. Oh, boy. We got a script malfunction again.
Well, oh, look. I think you're going to watch... Let's see. Oh, God. Tyler Lang. He's got second gate. That very inside can be really good. P11.
All right.
If you get a good jump, you definitely have it because it's a straight line. But if you don't, you can definitely get pitched off and have.
We're off and running here at Thunder Valley up the hill from the middle. It looked like it was actually going to be. Oh man, this is absolute chaos. It's Bryce Whelan with the hole shot again. Just like last week in Paula at the first moto, he hole shots here again at Thunder Valley and takes down Dickerson in the second corner. So he's opened up a little bit of a gap here from Eagland.
Tyler Lang are the one I picked for one to watch, at least off the start. I guess that's kind of what I was going for. He didn't get a jump, got pinched off, had somebody else kind of come into him and had a tip over or two, but he did navigate the future pile-ups pretty good, and he's about to be inside the top 10. I think another thing is you have to watch these guys. There's a lot of big pile-ups at the end of the downhills, a lot of speed and not a lot of time to slow down and move out of the way. So T. Lang now into 7th.
And it's Whelan leading from Eagland. Tyler Sylvia has moved up into 3rd after a crash looked like maybe out of Jack Gatlin from behind. I see Braden Carter is up here with Michael Mudge, Kevin Gonzalez, and then as you mentioned, Tyler Lang has moved up to 7th. Isaiah Dickerson, fortunate enough not to fall off the bike in that small tip over in turn 2, is already up to 8th again. Seaberg and Brett Powers up inside. So Donut running inside of the top 10, and these 250Fs really struggling to clear that uphill triple on lap number 1.
Yeah, let's see.
Well, it looks like Eagland laid it down before the mechanics area.
Yeah, Brett Powers coming up right on him in 10th. Eagland back to 9th. We do have Devin Ryan. I'm trying to look for kind of heavy hitters. I feel like Daniel Mills, Heckman, Jeremy Smith, who was in the Consi, wasn't riding very great, but he knows how to play this game. Like, you can't count him out whatever bike he's on.
We got a change for the lead as Bryce Whelan has gone down, and Braden Carter is going to lead the opening lap here at Thunder Valley, just over from Tyler Sylvia, who's putting the pressure on from 2nd. Paying attention to
fast, right?
Gebhardt, yeah, was fastest qualifier and is the points leader.
Okay. P22, Walter Gebhardt, bad start. You can get caught up a lot on these tracks, so won't have a lot of control. Craig Leak, Squidbro. Kind of looking back in the pack, people who've had not such good luck. Sean Klein, I remember he was inside the top 10 at least last week, so he's almost in 40th.
Tough start for some of our championship contenders. Actually 1 and 2 in the championship, both outside of points right now in Gebhardt and Klein, as Braden Carter leads the way after a suspension in Supercross, kept him out of the rest of the series. After a win in San Diego, he is back out for a vengeance here in the Outdoor Championship. Picks up a ride with DX3 this week and immediately is rewarding them with leading the race here at Thunder Valley, trying to hold off from Tyler Sylvia. And Tyler Lang also getting into the mix.
Yeah, if you see that long downhill, I feel like we're going to look for a lot of really good passes with charging some of the downhills and a lot of big swaps and falls. But Devin Ryan went down and he was up inside close to the top 5 at least. He's in the 20th now. I feel like you have to watch. A lot of these guys are going to be pushing, especially when it's early and it's not built up. You're going to see them pushing the limit a little bit too hard. You can lose a lot of positions early, especially on a track like this.
Basically a 4 or 5 rider train out front right now as Carter has bunched up to Sylvia after a small mistake. Lang is pushing him forward, and Dickerson lurking right back there as well. They're going to split lines. Lang might have an option here on Sylvia down the inside for second, and they almost get together.
Yeah, Lang's got it. A lot of the guys on 450s opting outside. Most of these guys are kind of split.
Look at Dickerson trying to hop over Toofer to get into second on his teammate. Makes the pass happen, and Carter almost goes down at the front. Dickerson's trying to go around the outside for the lead. And he looks like he's got it, and he is in front.
Was that a 5th to 1st right there?
That was a 4th to 1st out of Isaiah Dickerson, just like that. 4 corners later, new leader at Thunder Valley. And it's Isaiah Dickerson out front. Braden Carter trying to hold off Lang, going around the outside of him on the uphill. Gonna shut the door.
Yeah, these guys are pushing it. Ooh, Lang gets the double down where Braden Carter doesn't. Let's see where they're coming in. And there's a big swap out of Dickerson, and he doesn't fall off. Gets back in the 3rd. Braden Carter on the inside, Lang on the outside. See who gets to drive through the rollers, and Lang into the uphill step up first takes the lead.
Unbelievable action here at Thunder Valley as Lang's back out front. Carter's trying to get around him. You can also see Bryce Whelan and Kevin Gonzalez lurking in the background, making this a 6-rider train at the front now. As Dickerson was pirouetting at the bottom of the downhill, Carter blows the rut. Dickerson goes around him. And Carter makes another mistake, so Sylvia might have a chance.
Yeah, and that is a huck if you don't get it perfect on those 250s, so you won't see as many guys styling that. Actually, a lot of boner errors. Bryce Whelan coming up on Gonzalez in 6th, and Seberg right there in 7th. This has now been basically, wow, 8 people could have the lead with one little mistake. Eaglin as he comes right back up on the tail of this battle.
It is an absolute freight train out front right now, 6 minutes into this moto. And battle for the lead is already brewing. Dickerson trying to split lines with his teammate out front, Tyler Lang.
Yeah, keep an eye on some of these options, how they kind of go away. They're a little bit far, which is kind of scary on this track. You have to carry a lot of speed in the outsides, but when they come together, as long as you're not right up next to someone, you can either gain a lot or lose a lot, depending on how you hit it. So Dickerson closing back up on the lead.
All these
top
guys
3.
electing to hit that middle rut now as the freight train continues behind. Looks like Carter might actually be reeling this group back in out front. So Lang may just be holding the show up just a little bit. But all 3 of these riders really separating from the field as Dickerson throws it down on the uphill double.
Love to see it. Carter with an insane wheelie over the drop-off. That is so cool to see. You'll want to kind of notice a lot of these guys, do you want to follow? And I feel like a lot of the people at the back of the pack will try different lines, because if 1 or 2 people make a mistake, they'll be not there. But some of these guys are following a lot, which is kind of surprising.
Oh, Dickerson slingshots around the outside, goes to the lead on Lang. He tried 2 different options at the bottom, didn't work, went to the outside, that worked, and now Lang tucking in behind trying to get a counterattack in. But Case does a little step-up double and gives Dickerson a gap to work with.
Yeah, this corner is really hard. They just went through that little off-camber single. There is a little cheeky line. I don't think you're going to see the 250s hit it, but we can talk about it for the 450s later on. But cuts off about a second or 2, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. See which guys want to kind of risk it all. And the idea is Fuck. Isaiah Dickerson goes down, pushes front tire, and gets a fall off over that berm. Let's see how far he drops here.
So Lang goes back to the lead, and suddenly he's got a big one.
Ooh, Dickerson with another one.
We've lost Braden Carter, so Carter must have had a crash as well. Whelan now in second, and Ben Seberg sits third. Is in a really good spot here. He's going to give Whelan actually down the inside. Whelan's going to try to counter down the inside in the next corner. How about it? Ben Seberg up in the second.
Yeah, and while that was going on, Eaglin just had the fall off right now. Braden Carter was actually a little ways back, but the two fall offs by Dickerson put him in the 8th, and Braden Carter is right in front of him in 7th. A lot of changes to that lap for the top 8.
Yeah, the lap chart's going to look real interesting in this race for sure. That one lap alone, we probably saw 4 or 5 different dramatic changes in position. All the while Tyler Sylvia is still sitting here in 4th. Kevin Gonzalez trying to hold off Colby Eagland. And we got Braden Carter and Isaiah Dickerson coming through. Roy Mitchell and Phil Bull rounding out the top 10 with Daniel Mills on the 35 giving chase. So our top 10 grouping, really top 11 grouping here, has kind of opened this thing up early on.
Yeah, Daniel Mills definitely on it today on this track. I know a couple of mistakes in qualifying. Not as consistent maybe as he'd like to be, and we were actually talking, he has one gear. He is wide open and get a top 5 or get a 30th, depending on how much you fall. And he's not really one person to lower the pace too much for the races. So you'll probably see him running close to his max speed for most of the race, and he's doing it good so far. It's working out for him this time, but some other people like to slow up the pace maybe a few seconds and kind of hover right around there. Just be consistent and try not to fall, but everybody's got a little bit different race style.
Want to give a huge shout out to Dench Clips, who just subscribed to his 2nd month of subscribing here on SYS with a Twitch Prime sub. Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the motos here, as Isaiah Dickerson has just made the move on Colby Eagland. And I believe that puts him up into 6th now as he tries to run down Kevin Gonzalez and Tyler Sylvia up ahead. Bryce Whelan, Seberg, and it is still Tyler Lang leading as the entire group out front kind of dispersed a little bit. Seberg might actually be fastest rider on the track. Let's take a look this time by.
Yeah, I think he lost maybe a 10th or 2. We'll see coming in right here, but let's see.
Oh, picks up a half second that lap, 2:07 flat that time through. And
so far, fastest lap of the race besides Dickerson. Dickerson with passing the 4th. That was pretty cool with a 2:06.8.
Dickerson on the move. So we just saw the fastest lap set of the race right there by Seberg, and Dickerson follows through, resets it, and then passes Tyler Sylvia, who clipped the SpongeBob on the inside of the uphill. Unfortunate for Sylvia, who is in a great position. He's going to lose all those spots in that freight train, and then Dickerson goes down on the bottom of the hill. He was up to 3rd, and now losing positions as everybody else goes back on through.
Yeah, he was going absolutely insanely fast, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe instead of getting the, he's got the fastest lap of the race right now by a few tenths, but maybe instead of that, he needs to slow it up a little bit and stay consistent, because you might see him kind of do this from 9th, 10th, all the way up to, 1st, 2nd, and then keep dropping back, and that'll hurt you over the whole race if you can't keep it consistent at that speed. But he is riding, man, the way he's hitting some of these corners, it's amazing to me.
Immediately disposes of Daniel Mills after getting up from his crash. Tyler Sylvia checks in right behind Daniel Mills, and suddenly Phil Bull is right in the middle of this mess, trying to deal with Dickerson pulling alongside. Now Dickerson from around the outside is going to make a nice move there on the 22 Australian rider.
D Mills hit that line. I don't know if you could see that in that shot. Let's
Hopping
see.
up onto the table.
Yep. Not that many 250 guys hitting it. You kind of have to set up, and honestly, there might only be a few laps where it's kind of viable, because it kind of gets ruddy that inside. It's a really technical part of the track, even though it's not very high speed, but man, that gained him a lot of time. Let him get back up on Dickerson 8th, Phil Bull 7th, 4 and 5. Mitchell and Carter having an insane battle right now for 4th too.
And Roy Mitchell has just kind of sliced and diced his way into this group. The first time we saw him, he's in 9th. Now suddenly he's up into 4th around Braden Carter. And this is definitely looking like the Roy Mitchell of old, who raced for the Team USA at the Donations in 2012. Back on old form here is Big Asian Guys. He makes a move on Carter, but Carter doesn't look like he's done just yet.
Do you just remember that?
Remember what?
He raced for Donations, eagling by him.
Well, I mean, I was his teammate, but yeah.
Slight flex.
Slight flex. Right now, our two
That's
leaders.
just crazy.
Our two leaders have opened up this gap pretty big already. Seberg is still trying to give chase on Lang. And lap time check 2:07.6 to a 2:08.7. Still hovering right around that 4-second mark. So it hasn't closed up as much as the times may suggest.
Ooh, Seberg, let's see, having to switch it up to the outside line. It's a little bit less popular, but it might become more at the start right here. Or down that hill. Gains a little bit of time. It's kind of back and forth here. Man, consistent 207s and 208s though. If you look at what the rest of the field is running, these guys are on another level. Gebhardt, the only other one with a 208 or lower last lap.
Seberg carrying a ton of momentum down these hills and kind of using swooping lines to avoid braking bumps. This is a little bit of time there on a slide out. Still within striking distance on some level though to Lang. In case Lang has a fall off crash, we're going to start hitting lap traffic before long, as we're just about to the halfway point of the moto already. This one's going by quickly.
Seberg's kind of a surprise, right?
I think so. It's definitely turned it around this year, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't follow 250s as much as I should, and as I commentate these races and like keep an eye on them, I'm sure I'll get more into it. But man, he, like Lang, I feel like kind of expected to be there. There's a few people that I expected to be here and they're not. But Seberg, man, he's really impressing me this race. Just staying on Tyler Lang, matching each other's mistakes.
Looking back at a battle for 4th right here, it is still Mitchell and Carter nose to tail. DX365 machine of Carter trying to run down the whip style 270 of Mitchell. Crossover lines. Everybody's tucking to the inside of the top of the hill here. Eaglin still has Dickerson lurking on him, but it's this battle up ahead that is hot and heavy. Carter trying to get a run up the hill. Nearly side by side.
Man, so close.
Oh, look at Carter down the inside. Does he have a line on Mitchell, who's trying to swing it from the outside? But Carter will make that move. Mitchell looks for an opportunity back around the outside, now tucks in at the bottom of the hill. Carter from the outside is able to carry his momentum and keep the position.
Man, that was great. Dickerson and Eaglin coming up right behind these guys, as it looks like they didn't look like they were slowing down, but a few mistakes. As Carter goes down.
Oh, Carter had gone down, so that is it was off our camera screen. I couldn't see why. It just looked like Eaglin pulled over and stopped, but he was trying to avoid Carter, and so Dickerson went on by.
Mitchell, Dickerson, Eaglin, Mills, Bull, Carter now. Man, this battle for the top 10. Like, Sylvia 11th, Walter Gebhardt, who's running basically the fastest lap besides the leader every lap. 12th, just trying to get back up here, but man, this race is insane. Braden Carter working the inside against Phil Bull.
Isaiah
Can't make it work.
Putting some pressure here on Roy Mitchell. Tries to scrub down the table, stays a little bit lower than the 270. Let's see if he can use this outside option. Well,
yeah, I don't think they're going to yet. There's not much that inside. These ones they're going to split, but the entrance is getting a little bit rough, but the rut is really nice. But you might see him split right here. Dickerson lined up for the outside. Roy Mitchell the inside. Let's see how this works. As long as Dickerson doesn't hit him on the way down. Man, yeah, the outside's just so much faster.
Wow, what a move by Dickerson as he goes around Mitchell, and he's found his way back up to 4th. Gonna try to run down Bryce Whelan up the road a little ways here.
Yeah, a little mistake. Mitchell's closing back on him. Eaglin's coming up. D-Mills hits a tough block, slides out. Carter avoids him. Man, the thing is, like, Dickerson's going blazing fast, right? Fastest man on the track that last lap. And if he falls, though, he's in third. If he falls, he's going back to probably ninth again. Maybe 10th.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how close this grouping is right now. They have basically stayed together the entire race.
Just how long can he keep that pace? Because it's only, what, 13 and then 11 seconds to lead. Like, it's not unreachable, but it scares me if he has any more big mistakes.
And the track is continuing to deteriorate here, and it's only going to get worse with him pushing the envelope. He's going to start hitting bumps that are bigger and weren't there a lap before. Really could kick him off here.
Yeah, that might be one of the guys where we saw a lot of impressive passes holding it on. He might show us both holding it on into a corner to make an impressive pass, or cartwheeling through a corner because he held on too long. So you kind of have to play a lot of risk but a lot of reward.
Well, he's definitely continuing to push the envelope, and it's working right now, at least, as he's already caught back up to Bryce Whelan for third. So continues to get into a good position, crash his way back, and charge all the way back up to where he was, and now has a shot to go into third here. He's going to split lines once again. Let's see if he uses that outside line again here.
Yeah, and even if the outside, if they both take it, depending... Oh, he's going to get the pass right here.
Yeah, look at that. Whelan goes down the inside. Dickerson hops over him, and they almost touch on landing.
Oh, and lapper down right here.
Yeah, Dickerson goes on by, does a 2:08.8. So actually, Seberg matching him up of the road, but everybody else near or behind him, not even close, except Gebhardt, who's now charged all the way up to 9th, just did another 2:09.1.
Yeah, it was 13 and 11. Now it's 13. Ooh, lapper down for Seberg, 13 and 9. So, man, Dickerson and Seberg, as Seberg cartwheels and goes off the bike.
Seberg, and that is in a bad spot to try to carry his momentum, although I guess he's not all the way in the corner just yet. Looks like he's going to get on with Tanner Rogers nearly side by side as Dickerson charges down the hill from behind.
Yeah, so Lang will get a big lead, and Dickerson will get that closed in, maybe give him a little bit more drive to at least get second place here. But God, Roy Mitchell's still there.
Telling you, man, this is the old Roy Mitchell right here.
Yeah, I know. It's pain in the butt when he rides like this. He's been so quiet. I feel like he hasn't gotten into like too many battles, no big falls. He's just there. He's like a Dungey. He's the diesel. He's just cruising.
He's the goldenrod.
Yeah. Besides Whelan, who's right in front of him, he's got one of the slowest laps in the top 5, so, which isn't bad. Run those consistent.
There's a look at the gap right there between Seberg and Dickerson. Dickerson trying to work his way around Daniel Batchet by the looks of it there on the 86.
Yeah, Dickerson coming up. Whelan's kind of right, closing in on him a little bit, but not too much else going on. If you want to do a top 20 rundown, we kind of missed that.
Yeah, we could do a quick
15 minutes.
Top 20 rundown. We are past the 20-minute mark. This one is brought to you by VersusPC.com as our leader has gone down. Tyler Lang clips his head on the inside tough block, so he's going to lose about 10 seconds off the lead that he did have, but still commands probably about a 10-second lead from here now.
Yeah.
But it is
maybe
Lang.
7 or 8.
Lang leading here on the number 18 MV Films machine from Seberg on the 48 Rockstar Energy Husqvarna in second. Third is Isaiah Dickerson. Number 25 for MV Films with DPC's Bryce Whelan in fourth. Right behind him is Roy Mitchell on the 270 whip style ride with Colby Eagland. Not too far off his tracks either for Tagger Designs. Right there in sixth is Phil Bull for Team Volcom, number 22. Seventh now is Walter Gebhardt on the number 13 Prestige Worldwide, your points leader. Eighth, Kevin Gonzalez for BPC. Ninth, Daniel Mills for Tagger.
That's my best friend.
And 10th is Tyler Sylvia. For C4 Designs, 11th, Braden Carter. 12th, Edward Mora. 13th is Hunter Porch. 14th is Sean Klein, who won the opening round of the series. He is a little bit on the struggle bus since then and trying to charge his way forward. Up to 14th. Behind him, Jake Warden. 15th, 16th for Jordan Moxie. 17th,
I think you're one. What?
Am I off one?
Yeah.
18th, I should say, Dalton Plessinger.
I've got Klein 15th, which is actually terrible for first or second in the championship. I don't know who's messed up, but...
Oh, yeah, I got 15th for Klein, too. I thought I had him 14th.
Okay. No worries. Jake Warden, Wildside, 16th. Jordan Moxie, 17th. Dalton Plessinger, Active Co, 18th. Seth Garrett, Blast MX, 19th. And Zoa Cross, DX3, in 20th. Holding it down. And
incredible to see here as well as we go all the way back to P20 Cross. How close battles are still throughout the field. Dalton Plessinger just slides out, loses 3 positions. As Seth Garrett and Zoe Cross goes by, so that's 2 positions actually. And then Moxie is still right behind Warden and Klein. They're all mixed together. Hunter Porch just ahead of Klein, as is Edward Mora. It's just never-ending battles.
Bunched up,
here.
Yeah.
And
I wish we had all the time in the world to break them down and go through it, but this top 10 at least is giving us a lot of battles as far as from what I can see right now. We've got 6, 7, 8.
Actually, I wanted to take a look here. Tyler Lang, P1, almost 25 minutes into the moto, has lapped P28. So just to give you an indication, they lapped well. I think they lapped 14th last week at Paula. So they haven't even made it close to where they were able to lap up at Paula. And I think that, if anything, just shows not only how close the times are, but how evenly this track is racing right now. Everybody's able to kind of hit the same marks and not crash as often, which is a little bit unexpected because, as you mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, we're kind of expecting to see some guys have some big mistakes in these downhill sections, and it hasn't really happened too much yet, at least.
If you watch the opening lap, which is what kind of caught up some of these, I would say top 5 contenders or title or race winners, like Devin Ryan, who else is still back here? Sean Klein, like 15th, like there was a lot of big crashes early, and I don't know if it's that everybody's falling so much, like, as a whole, or if everybody's not falling, you know, and that's why they're close, because I think some of the leaders, they don't crash in a race, you know, and I know Lang has fell at least a few times, so maybe they're all just kind of falling more.
It is true. It does seem like we're seeing a good mixture of kind of crashes or mistakes out of everybody. Actually, while you're running that down, we saw Walter Gebhardt cartwheel down the hill with Daniel Mills and a lapper, so they were all just together flipping down the hill. So they lost a lot of time.
Lang fell when we started it too.
Yeah.
And then fell last lap, or he at least had a 2:16. I don't know. I think they were different laps, but.
Well, either way, Seberg has got this thing maybe a little bit closer than Lang wanted it this late in the moto. I know it's still plenty that if he had a big mistake, he could hang on. But a crash may be a different story at this point out of Lang. And with 3.5 minutes and 2 laps left to go, I think he's just trying to tighten the old sphincter here and hang on.
Yeah, I said before last year when we had that crazy title battle going in.
Oh, he's down! Sorry to cut you off, but...
No, you're good. Seberg's going to take that.
And look at that. Ben Seberg goes to the lead in Colorado just as we had mentioned about the crashes on the downhill. It bites Tyler Lang and a new leader here in Colorado, but it is not over yet. Lang's trying to fight back immediately. Oh, contact! And Seberg stays up and continues to lead the race. Oh, my goodness.
At least none of them fell off. That's man. Well, let's see how Lang reacts, because not only that first one, but let's see if he keeps riding how he has been, or if he, you know, rides over his head and loses this. You never want to see the guy who gets past kind of lose touch, you know? Oh my God, Lang. And Lang freaked out.
And he's down. Well, we talked a little bit, Awood, before the race started about the tipping point of the track where it would reach its best, and I think it is now sliding off the cliff a little bit. Guys are starting to keep pushing the same level that they were before and going too deep into corners, crashing. Look, we just saw Whelan make a real dumb mistake after he took over second. And Lang still sliding around. Suddenly Seberg is thrust into a pretty big lead when a lap ago he was about 10-15 seconds behind nearly.
Yeah, man, I mean, Eaglin 10 seconds back, or Lang 10 seconds back, not that bad. Eaglin and Dickerson now on a battle past Whelan. Man, Whelan really threw that away right there, but that's just how close all these guys are. And it's, yeah, see, I don't know if it's more crashes or if, like, the track's better, but you can't ride that full pace because it's going to bite you as it has Tyler Lang.
Definitely reached up and bit our leader. Unbelievable out of Lang, and at this point, he's just trying to regroup and hang on to second if he can, as the battle continues to ensue behind him. Dickerson and Eaglin seems like they've been together nearly this whole moto. Dickerson, big mistake. Eaglin pulls up right alongside for a moment. They continue to dispute third here.
Did we said the track was gonna get better earlier, right?
I thought, yeah, I believe that is what we theorized.
So I think it got faster earlier, but these guys were running still. I mean, fast lap of the race 2:06.8, average like 2:07, 2:08. They were running fast laps for a long time, so I think it got good and then it stayed good for a while. And then now it kind of went over the edge. So maybe they got so used to running fast laps from 10 to 25 minutes, and then now it's coming up to get them, you know?
Yeah, well, it's very interesting to see now on board with Eaglin how many different options are available to these guys, and not everybody's funneling into those same lines at this point in the race anymore either. There's 3 or 4 different lines in every single corner that are possible. And even if you blow that inside rut like Eaglin just did, he can still find an outside line to hit. And Dickerson goes down out of third again, so Dickerson just does not want to finish this race in third today, it seems.
And man, Dickerson he's been on the climb, at least that, so he had to have, his last lap wasn't bad, but 2:13, 2:33 for our second place, so Lang dropped so hard. Eaglin 2:11, Whelan 2:23, Dickerson 2:10, like, you see the guys who are making mistakes and the guys who are just saving themselves 10 seconds, which is, I feel like, an average for a fall off.
Yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic at this juncture of the race as we're about to get the 2-lap board coming out, or we just did, I should say, as Seberg got it this time by. And the track is, I think, to the point now where these guys are a little bit in survival mode. At least it would seem that way out of Seberg. Oh, he just got together with Devin Ryan, so a little lost time there at the top of the hill. What are we looking at gap-wise now? Down to 6.3 seconds, actually, out of Lang.
See, so Lang is still full send, 6-1. Lang is shredding right now. I'm looking at their last laps. And Gebhardt, who, before he crossed the finish...
Oh, Seberg goes down with the lead! Just on board with him for a quick moment. Again, sorry to cut you off, Awood.
Ooh, no, you're good.
Lang almost gets into the back of him. What is happening here in Colorado? So Lang has gone back to the race lead. Lap and a half left to go. And Seberg's got to try to mount the charge here. And I think he may be up to the task here. He's already pulled it in a little bit more on Lang, who's trying to just smoothly find his lines down the inside. I think that gap is coming down under 2 seconds now. Oh, Seberg absolutely on the charge, and Lang goes down, or at least he front flips out of it. What is happening?
I feel like I'm watching 450s from last week, like how much change is going on right now, but it's not even for an overall, but man, these guys are switching so much, sending it so hard and falling, but still somehow staying in front of the guys who have just been there. Eaglin, I feel like, has just kind of been there most of the race, a few mistakes. Roy Mitchell 6th, Phil Bull 7th, like Kevin Mitchell 8th. I feel like those guys, D-Mills 9th, they haven't changed, you know, most of the race. I feel like it just kind of shows you the two different styles to attacking a 35-minute moto in outdoors.
Exactly, and I'll tell you what, Eagland, who you just mentioned there in third, might be in a pretty good position here with these two guys sending it for the win here late in the moto as the white flag is about to wave. These guys, if any indication has been prevalent here, they have been crashing quite a bit, and Eagland is just sitting back here waiting for the opportunity to pounce if he can. 1 lap to go in Colorado, Moto 1 of the 250 class. Can Seberg win it? Can Lang win it? Can Eagland win it? It would all be their first victory of the season if they could hang on.
Eagland using a different rut, and those are lappers that got caught up. He's less than 10 seconds off the lead. So if your leader is a fall off, he's going behind Eagland unless he makes a mistake. So
at this point, Lang, I think, is throwing caution to the wind. It's either first or last at this point in Tyler Lang's mind. Got the gap down to about 2 seconds. Trying to get off the top of the hill clean and brings it under 2 seconds as he goes off the side of the racetrack there. Oh my goodness.
Looks like these are going so choppy. You see both these guys taking this outside line. Middle's been good all race, but outside's now the preferred because the inside's just a little too gnarly coming into it.
Look at the speed Lang's carrying in and out, but it's actually not gaining him any time. It's almost like he's overriding the track a little bit as Seberg just trying to hang on out front.
Inside Lang's on is pretty fast, gonna probably gain a little bit. Wow.
It's still 2-3 on the timing and scoring right here. Hasn't come down yet, so Seberg is trying to just fend off the challenge late.
Eagland's just gotta stay there. Same with Whelan, avoid lappers. Whelan's not that far behind Eagland, like.
Oh, Seberg's gone down! Seberg off the side of the track at the bottom of the hill, and it gives Lang the lead back.
Jesus.
5 corners to go, and they have changed the lead again. Oh my goodness, Lang at this point just tiptoeing through the corners, wants to try to hold this thing down at this point.
Yeah, Lang, man, yeah, he is tiptoeing for the first time in this race. It seems like Seberg, shit, might want to push it back if he's tiptoeing. He's got some lappers right there.
I think
he had one, but
it's a little too late now for Seberg. He blew it in the final lap of the race. Unbelievable finish to Moto 1 here in the 250 class at Colorado as Tyler Lang picks up the victory here in the first race in the Thunder Valley National. Just holds off Ben Seberg. Incredible stuff there across the line. Eagland was licking his chops that whole ending of the race there. Comes across in third, just ahead of Isaiah Dickerson. And Bryce Whelan will end up fifth.
Whelan went down going for fourth at the very end. That was kind of sick, but man, it just shows you, like, God, to me it's crazy the different styles these guys take to do these races. Someone in chat said no one wants to win. Like, Lang hangs out. Seberg was pretty steady. He's just fast. Few mistakes of his own at vital times, but Eagland, like, dude, Eagland was there all race, I feel like. Just going.
Roy Mitchell crosses in 6th ahead of Kevin Gonzalez, Phil Bull, and Daniel Mills. Your points leader, Walter Gebhardt, has a forgettable moto here as he comes across in 10th. Sean Klein, the winner of the openers, trying to hold on to 11th. Looks like he has got that as he has a lapper behind him. Hunter Porch here in 12th. Has Jordan Moxie closing up, so this battle is yet to be decided. Moxie trying to keep it at least close, potentially for cuts, but he might also have a shot in the final corner to go after Porch here. Let's see what lines they take. Porch would do good to defend outside. He doesn't. Instead, Moxie might have an opportunity to hop over him, and it's going to be close, but he just hangs on by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, at least brings it a lot closer for cuts.
Yeah, potentially.
I didn't see too much crazy stuff going on. This track's seems wider to me, but yeah, we got to keep in mind with all those close battles. There's one big gap, 19 seconds from 6th to 7th, or from 5th to 6th. Other than that,
Dalton Plessinger gets together there with Jake Warden and is going to lose 2 spots because of it. Brett Powers ends up P19, and Plessinger will pick up that lone final point, just edging out Christian Reed, who is trying to get him at the line. And Trent Adams will cross the line 22nd. Unbelievable finish to this one here.
Man, that was wild. We got to get 36 off the track.
36 off the track. Man, I've got to believe that Ben Seberg is absolutely fuming inside of his office right now. This is not a good sign for him after blowing that lead with 5 corners to go, and hands it over instead to Tyler Lang. Great battle between them. It really was never actually a battle so much as it was a crash battle. They were always about 5 seconds apart, and they would crash and hand over the lead. Cuts are in. Let's see, did anybody lose a position inside the top 10? No, it stayed the same.
No. Carter, wait.
Yeah, Carter lost a spot to
16.
Sylvia.
Man, he was up there early too. Who else? Devin Ryan lost 25th outside the points, but
Whew. Wow.
man, what a great moto.
Ooh.
I'm gonna ride a lap and then
Crazy race right there. And we're going to go ahead and bring in our special guest of the night. Haywood, you are always our special guest, but our special guest is going to be former series champion Austin Jones is now joining us in the booth. How you doing tonight, Austin? What's up, buddy? Oh, maybe isn't here anymore.
probably.
Wah, wah.
Surprised you didn't have him muted like last time.
Yep, I dragged Jones while he was AFK. Look at this.
Sweet.
What's up, Austin? How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How you doing?
Great, man. Just watched a epic 251st moto here. And,
I know, a lot of crashes and changes up front.
All right, now you're joining us here in the booth live. Welcome back to MX Simulator Pro Racing. How's it been trying to qualify and try hard out there so far?
They're really fast out there. It's a lot harder than back in the day. But I'm slowly getting back up to pace.
Yeah,
Got my old controller going, and that helped a lot.
Yeah, just missing out at Hangtown, but picking up the pace here in Thunder Valley. Are you feeling a little bit more comfortable with this track than you were back at Sacramento?
Yeah, a little bit. Actually, Hangtown being the home track, I felt faster, but just like got nervous in the race. It was sketch. Give me a sec, Colin.
I'll give you all the seconds in the world, Mr. Jones. Former series champion, 2011 champion, the first ever series champion. Haywood, way back in the day. I mean, I think you and I were both just after that when he had won the title when we came around, but still pretty cool to have a living legend amongst us.
Yeah, I came in after late 2012, riding the keyboard, trying to just qualify and then just ride around in last in heats and mains and Supercross, and then slowly worked my way up. A lot of old battles with JLV, which like sounds weird to say, like battling for 30th in outdoor races, but got a controller the next year, and 2013 was like, I don't know, my year. I kind of peaked there and then just got busy, but I've been lucky enough to know Jones, I guess, as a friend, hang out with him when he comes down here to SoCal, and he's a rad dude, and he's always been fast at this game for sure. Helped me out a lot.
Yeah, Jones is an iconic name in the sport, no doubt about it, but probably most remembered for helping Tyson Fresquez become the rider that he became, I would say. Tyson and Jones were teammate for Team Barry back in 2012, and that was Tyson's first championship year, where he became the first guy to sweep outdoors and in, and was the only guy to do it until Alexis Leclerc did it last year. So that
Jesse Mullins didn't do it before then?
Nope, Jesse never won a Supercross title.
Oh, damn. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
Tyson back in the day, he was a ripper. He wasn't really on a team. It was just him and Hindi playing. Decided to pick him up, put him on Barry. We started playing quite a bit, actually. It was pretty good.
All right, Jones, take me down memory lane a little bit and tell me
yeah,
about what it was like racing the first organized national series in MX Simulator way back in 2011.
Well, we had some like problems, technical difficulties and stuff like that with the server. We got a lot more set up now. Sween did really well. Sween and Wheels were the old promoters. And then JLV did like Supercross for a bit, and he faded out and handed over to those guys too. But it was pretty good. Not as many like competitive people not everyone played all week and stuff like that, so it was a bit different. But it was fun back then, I'll tell you that. Like, we had a lot of, me and TG were just talking about like all the throwback names. We had a lot of people like we met in real life because of this game. It was crazy.
Yeah, I remember even seeing you back when you stopped playing the game a little bit. You would hang out with a couple guys that used to play sim as well, and I think you guys all got into doing some filming and photography of street racing cars. And like, how's that going? Like, what's it been like? And is your portfolio all built up now, or what's going on with that?
I'm pretty established, like with my name locally. It's going pretty well. Gets sketchy at times, like deal with the cops and stuff like that, but it's pretty fun. Just getting like, once I graduated high school, video games became less the main focus, you know. So it's a cool new hobby to pick up, and I've always been into filming and editing and things like that. So took what I learned from this game, and a lot of people like we'd edit all week and stuff like that. So it was cool. Is this a start or is this a warm-up?
This is going to be a warm-up lap, and since you are our guest of honor tonight, I would love if you could give us a guy that you want us to pay attention to a little bit in the motos. We call it our Versus PC one to watch during the motos. We'll go in and check in on him and see how he's doing, whether he's got a good start or bad, and figure out what his moto's like. So give us someone you want to pay attention to this race.
So I'm not going to say he's going to get a dub or anything like that, but D Mills, Daniel Mills, Tiger Designs, he's another OG, so keep an eye on him, see how he does. I think his lap time is like 5 seconds off the pace, so he's got a chance. Who knows if he could ride that lap? All of moto, he's got a chance to be up front.
Well, the first moto rode pretty well, hovered right around that top 10 basically the entire race, and was in that lead group for a long time. So I'm with you. I think if he can get a start, maybe we'll see a little bit of magic out of the old D Mills, our 2017 Daytona 250 Supercross winner, and legendary OG, as you had mentioned, has a lower UID than you, I think, even, right?
If I'm not mistaken, he's in the 200s or something like that, yeah.
I think he's 21, isn't he?
Oh, he's double digit, then yeah, definitely way lower than me. I was just joking with Zach Dupuy about we're the only 3 digits in 450 class. It's crazy how it's changed and how many people have bought the game.
Yeah, now I think we're up over 30,000 UIDs if I can remember right from some of the amateur races that we saw. But time to go racing here. Austin Jones in booth here with me alongside A. Wood and Kellen Brower. Excited to bring you guys action. 250 Moto 2 from Thunder Valley is set to go, and we are off and running. Up the uphill we go. Long drive. A couple guys wheelied out, and Whelan once again has a shot at the whole shot, but he goes down, or actually gets pushed wide as Dickerson went down, and Eaglin on the 20 goes to the front.
Yeah, Tiger Designs out front. That was a clean start by him. Avoided all the chaos from the guys. It's a really tight start at the top of the hill there.
All these guys already trying to fan out a little bit. That was a tough break for Dickerson, who was so strong speed-wise in the first moto. He's going to have to all do it over again with some hard charging after a first turn crash. But it looks like a lot of our players from that first race already back up at the sharp end of the field here. Pretty much the same guys. Hunter Porch now shows his face the first time. We didn't see him much in the first race as he was outside of the top 10 as we have a change for the lead. Bar to bar down the hill. And Eaglin's going to shut the door on the inside and get the lead right back.
There goes Whelan up the inside.
Yeah, blowing the corner at the bottom of the hill was Eagland. Porch trying to show him a wheel as well as Whelan goes back to the front.
Hunter Porch, another OG of the game, been around a long time. Pretty cool to see him still doing well with the 99 on the Prestige Worldwide KTM there.
Yeah, we've seen a resurgence from a lot of guys this year, it seems. A lot of the OG guys coming back and really putting in strong rides. And it's definitely good to see them mixing up with some of the younger bucks of the class as Porch makes a small mistake. Got to look down the inside there as Michael Mudge on the 761 looks to make a move. He's got Zoa Cross on the 47 right behind him.
What's up, guys? I just got back. Wow, Whelan and Eagland up front, they're about the only people in the top 10 right now. Top 15, D Mills is back there in 15th, but the only people in the top 10 that were up here last moto, I think. Top 10 at least, so lot of bad starts from a lot of your Moto 1 contenders.
Yeah, I'm seeing Ben Seberg and Walter Gebhardt are 36th and 37th by the looks of it, or actually 35th and 36th on the timing sheets. So
yeah, Gonzalez, about 8th or 9th and 16th. Lang, 17th. Roy Mitchell, 18, 19. So your 10 to 20 is looking a lot more like your top 10 last moto than your top 10 is right now.
So it's an entire shuffle of the field except for our two leaders who continue to go at it. And with everybody as far back as they are, this could very quickly develop into a battle for the overall victory here today. Whelan 5th in that first race, Eaglin 3rd.
Yeah, 100%. Unless you see Lang get up there, I feel like, man, Whelan, Eaglin, they gotta be. Whelan kind of dropped off, but man, Eaglin right here, he's gotta capitalize on this good start, this early lead, and just make it happen for the overall.
So Jones, I know the pace may be a little bit higher than back when you raced, but if you're in a position kind of like a Zoa Cross or a Devin Ryan here, where you're just in the midst of this frantic battle at the beginning of the race, what's your kind of end goal here? Are you just trying to pin it to win it? Are you trying to stay on two wheels while staying in the group? As early as in the race as it is, there's got to be some strategy going on.
So Devin is a NorCal kid. I talked to him a little bit post-race and then some of the qualifying, and he always gets really worked up, and I tell him just chill out. Like, you got to sit in a position that you're in, sit in 5th, wait for some mistakes up front, keep the pace though, don't let them run away. But yeah, I mean, I would play it smart and go for the podium or hopefully a dub. They aren't getting too far ahead of him. If the leader goes down, he could potentially get up there. So I would play it smart if I was those guys, and especially going for the points. You don't want to go for the crazy passes early on and screw yourself, get into the backpack.
Looks like that is exactly what they're doing, as they opened up a small little gap as Michael Mudge tipped over in the background and Luke Sullivan was able to get around.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, basically the same thing as Jones. Is Devin Ryan's going to pick up a spot here as Hunter Porch slides out going on to the start straight. But Devin Ryan always seems to be like a second moto guy to me. I feel like he gets pretty hyped up. Like, Jones could probably say that. Like, he gets hyped up, and then second moto, like, he just rides, I guess, how he should. But yeah, if you get a good start, I feel like I've always been one person to try to just stay on two wheels as long as possible, because if you end up going down 6 laps in, you might lose a spot or two, whereas if you go down on the lead lap at all, whether you're hole shotting or you're in 10th, you're going to go back very far.
Well, Devin strikes me as a guy here as well, that when he does get a good start, it's almost like dangling a carrot ahead of him, you know? He's like, kind of can see the eyes on the prize moment and really picks up the intensity throughout the entirety of the race, whereas sometimes I feel when he gets a bad start, it's a little bit harder for him to charge forward because he doesn't have that end goal of a potential race victory sitting right ahead of him. But at least in this one, he has that opportunity available to him.
Yeah, I don't want to be mean. I love Devin, but it's basically like, no, it's basically like being like a head case. Like, I would say,
so cross goes down.
Yeah,
I would say Devin's like that. Like, I'm trying to think of like almost real life examples. If you get a top 5 start, they're probably going to be top 5 in the moto, like last week Moto 2. But I feel like that's kind of how some people are in real life. Like, even Barsha, like, if he has to start in 20th, he's going to get really frustrated with all the stuff he has to deal with. But if he gets a top 5 start, he knows that's where he belongs. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Devin finish on the podium. He could win, and maybe even on the podium for his overall. I don't know where he finished last moto.
well, he was able to finish up that first moto in...
I want to say outside of the top 20.
Yeah, it looks like he was 25th. Yeah, so...
Yeah, I mean...
No overall going today, but get some points and at least help your series out, you know, your season out.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be now with, I guess, more weight off his shoulders. Hunter Porch is a little bit of a wild card there, but I say he gets a first through third this moto and at least help his overall finish out. But it's just, you can see how much a good start does to you. I mean, there's very few people who don't get affected by it. Last week we saw in the 450s Leclerc. start. Wait, and the other guy? They
Battle
started way
in
back.
10th through 7th place. They're all bunched up. Check that out.
Taking a look real quick at Solace and Zoa Cross going back and forth, but like you said, Austin Bear under attack from behind. Oh, Roy Mitchell gets sent off the side of the track from Jeremy Schiabro. We also have Isaiah Dickerson looking to make a move, but he gets stood up and goes down.
Yeah, Dickerson had ran that 208. I was checking out the pit boards there. He was on a burner last lap. Sucks to see him go down. Him and Roy have been picking off people left and right.
Here's first moto winner Tyler Lang also in the mix right there, as he is right behind our Versus PC one to watch Daniel Mills. Austin Bear was in that group, but we saw him get sideways and go down.
Frank Jackson go down. I haven't seen him around, so good. He had a good run going for him. Jones last moto we were talking about, Tyler Lang and Dickerson, they're so far above the pace it looks like that they're just running that wide open. They're easily the two fastest people on the track, but Tyler Lang, not lucked into the victory, but how far can you push that limit of being the fastest guy on the track and then gambling with how often you're going to fall?
Right, and that's always been the name of the game with MX Sim. I think everyone can say that. These guys are pushing the bikes so hard and leaning it over so hard everywhere that they're bound to crash. So if these guys smarten up a little bit, I know they're 250 guys, and I don't know how many series or seasons they have under their belts, but if they smarten up a little bit, take it down a half second a lap, they would have better chances of keeping it on two wheels.
Yeah, I was also talking about how our buddy Daniel Mills, he doesn't believe in that. He's got one speed, and how it ends up is how it ends up. I've always tried to get my qualifying pace fast, but then get like a steady pace, like a second or two slower. Whereas these guys, they're on such another level where they can just cut back half a second. They can cut back one corner that they charge really hard, you know, but they get sketchy coming into it.
Yeah.
And like most 450 races, you'll see a lot of the guys are a little bit, feel like more weathered, a little bit more vet-like, but you'll see the leader has anywhere from 0 to 2 crashes tops in an average race.
Right. Consistency is a bit higher.
Yeah.
I'm taking a look at Lang and Dickerson actually lost ground, lost some of the position of Luke Sullivan, but looking at Lang, did a 2:08.8 last time by in traffic as he's trying to work his way forward. Has a couple of positions on offer ahead of him, trying to get Schiabro and Mills.
It'll be interesting to see when the lap times peak out too, with the track roughness. It seemed to shape up pretty well this round versus some of the others. I know some of the inside rides are getting a bit walled. These riders seem to be a few seconds off the pace they were in qualifying.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that last moto. Our 2:06.8 was the fastest with the 2:07.0 out of the first moto. I feel like this track hits its peak a little sooner than the other tracks, maybe 10 to 12 minutes. And it holds its peak longer because they were running pretty fast lap times until 25 minutes, and then that's where it starts to kind of get rough. I mean, you didn't race the first moto, but is that kind of what you realized? Did you watch it all and kind of?
Yeah. I was watching from. I was kind of riding, warming up for the Consi race. If you're gonna race that with me, Awood, I gotta be ready for it.
Yeah. But yeah, we felt like it shapes up nice early, and it lasts longer than most of the tracks we've raced on in the series have.
Back up to the front, it looks like Eagland is giving Whelan some pressure.
Yeah, 11 minutes in. Now finally this battle for the lead has accordion just enough that we have a little bit more talking point here. Oh.
Yeah, don't sleep on Devin Ryan. 2:06.8 matched the fastest lap of last moto. All right, though. Hunter Porch not far behind him. A little bit more spread out, but kind of got the top two, and third and fourth right behind him this moto.
You there, Kellen? Your mic? It sounded like your mic went out.
It went out for a second. I think I'm back, though.
Yeah, you're all good.
All right.
Man, Eagland right up on here. Eagland and Whelan, they were two of the more consistent people, and I feel like last race, with a little bit slower pace, Devin Ryan, we'll see with his confidence and his good start, Can he keep those lap times coming as Whelan blows that?
Yeah, I think starting to see some of these downhills already getting chewed up enough that those optional lines are becoming a little bit more prevalent, guys attacking in different zones of the racetrack.
Devin Ryan tossing it.
Oh, and Whelan goes
Still
down with the
charging.
lead. And hands
Whelan.
it over.
Colby Eagling going to take over lead there. Devin Ryan absolutely blowing apart the berms back here, and Hunter Porch following him. I wouldn't be surprised to see, wow, Devin's tossing it too. Besides that mistake right there, pretty fast lap out of both of these guys in second and third, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them passing for first and second over Eagland, who's more of a slow and steady wins the race type of guy within this next lap.
I'm going to do a very quick Disco Rico because my timing and scoring got messed up in that lag. So you guys keep chatting.
Fine. Devin Ryan using some alternate lines. Little switch up line at the bottom of the hill.
Very cool factor with the road now. People having to switch their lines up, and as the race develops, or as the track develops, they are going outside, trying middle ruts that no one's hit all moto. Super cool and something you didn't see back in the day. So that's
Yeah, did you see first moto? So the inside ruts kind of turned into walls, right? And then we started to see a lot of the outside ruts being used. I mentioned this at Paula. I feel like after the first full moto, guys see those outside ruts becoming viable, and they'll start to form them earlier in the second moto than they did in the first moto. They kind of like that one line.
up in the front. They're getting bunched up. Eagland and Devin Ryan.
Down to half second. Hunter Porch still there holding on. Hunter Porch was actually the fastest person out of the lead group.
These top four guys are a bit checked out on Tyler Lang back in 5th place.
Yeah, this battle for the lead is really tensed up, and Devin Ryan's going to go for it, maybe on laying down the inside by the mechanics area. Little loss of traction coming down the hill, but still right in it and getting saucy. I think Devin Ryan's feeling it this moto, guys.
Definitely. That's what I was just going to say, Kellen. He is throwing the bike around a lot. He seems to be in his groove. Maybe he's got the stream on, heard us talking about him.
He's got a point to prove after that lackluster first moto down in 25th, probably very frustrated from that one as well, and putting it all out on the racetrack now, putting the pressure on Eagland for the lead as we reach the halfway mark in Moto 2 at Thunder Valley.
Really trying some different lines, going all the way outside after the whoops. Hunter Porch blows him up.
Oh, we got a bit of lag, it seemed like, there for a second out of Eagland.
Sorry, had to handle something. Yeah, Devin Ryan lost touch a little bit, but Hunter Porch right up on him now. Another crazy three-way battle. Feels like last moto.
So as we run, Eagland is in a prime position to claim the overall victory on the day. I think he could even lose both of these positions and still be in position, with Devin Ryan DNFing that first race, or actually finishing outside the points, I should say, and Hunter Porch only able to come home in 12th.
Ooh. Sorry, Devin Ryan drug handlebar in that rut and almost threw it away.
Oh, look at
Now
that
he's
outside
outside.
move. Oh my goodness, slides it down, but still stays in second, just ahead of Porch there.
So with you following these races a bit more, do you think Eagland's going to calm it down and realize he's going to get the overall today, or is he going to go for the win? Kellen.
Well, that's a good question. Eagland's never won one of these overalls to my knowledge, so he may want that more so than he wants a race victory. But I think in his case here, his best case scenario, honestly, is maybe throw caution to the wind and try to get away from these guys so he can afford himself a crash and still be in the mix, instead of settle down and maybe crash anyway.
These guys all throwing down on their 250s. Ooh, Hunter Porch catches a groove.
Will slide out, gets lucky, stays up in front of Bryce Whelan. Has there been any fall-offs from the top few yet?
Not really, I don't think so. I think a couple of mistakes here and there, some slide outs. I think
Yeah,
they've all
Whelan's-
stayed on 2 wheels.
Whelan's fall off a few laps ago, I think, was the only real big one out of these top 4 riders, and that's why they're so separated from the pack. Ooh, Lapper takes down Whelan, kind of taking him out of the fight.
Devin Ryan tries the outside on Eaglin, now goes inside on the uphill and takes over the race lead. So
Great
it's
racing out of these 250 riders.
Devin Ryan to the lead, 17.5 minutes into this thing. And I'll admit right there, it seemed like Eaglin was a little bit content with just letting him go down the inside. Didn't really put up too hard of a fight on the uphill. Didn't have an option really, but still just settles into second now. And how
This is where Devin Ryan is thinking, I need to get ground and get checked out, so if I do have that fall off, it's all good.
Yeah, he is putting the hammer down right now, that's for sure.
Hopefully, we'll see, because I think he knows that Eaglin doesn't have that raw speed that he does. I just feel like hopefully he'll back it off maybe a second on the pace and kind of keep it steady, because man, if he has a fall off right now, he's going to be back in third again. He's worked so long to get up here, and he had 2 really close calls last lap.
Can't believe that Walter Gebhardt, your fastest qualifier, only able to salvage a 10th in Moto 1 after a terrible start, and right now still runs outside of the points here in Moto 2, so your points leader may lose it again for the 2nd week in a row. And points-wise, this is an interesting dynamic of where it'll go from here, because very distant 3rd in the points, I believe, was Tyler Lang. But Lang also having a little bit of a struggle this moto after his first moto victory.
Currently in 5th place, not too bad, salvaging some good points. He has Whelan within his sights, so we'll see if he puts any pressure as the clock ticks.
I wonder whether or not someone has told Eagland the situation with Lang after he won that first moto. If he gets to 4th with where Eagland runs right now, the overall will switch hands once again. A 1-4 beats a 3-2.
Yeah, these guys tend to have spotters and a crew sitting in Discord helping them out, doing some math behind the scenes, letting them know where people are. So hopefully he does have someone and isn't a quiet racer.
Well, it does seem like he may have received that message. He's already starting to close it back down ever so slightly on Devin Ryan and put a gap on himself and Hunter Porch. Probably hoping for a mistake out of Devin Ryan if it'll happen, but Ryan's been very, very solid this moto.
Yeah, Devin's been killing it for his active company. Tiger Designs, Colby Eaglin right behind him. Devin goes down.
Just the same corner we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast that has caught out so many actual pros. Devin Ryan coughs up the lead here, 20 minutes into Moto 2 at Thunder Valley.
Oh, and we had Hunter Porch go down, so he gets back up into 2nd place at least.
Yeah, Porch trying to get back up before anybody else comes by. Tyler Lang was pretty far back, but now that's going to move Lang into a position to get closer for 3rd.
Lang, slight mistake himself back there in 4th place. He has to reset on the wall jump. Awkward little 3